It all started with the Roman rule. Everything was Catholicism. Around 1700. Latin America was not established, but the Portuguese, Spanish, and England, all of Europe was involved in colonialism. So the Portuguese went around Africa like, dude, let's go fucking take the western coast of Africa and fuck everybody there possible. The Spanish went to America like, yeah, let's have sex with the natives and destroy their land and rape their land. And then, America.
I want to talk about Paul Revere. He was like us. He walked, he breathed, and he decided to one day come here. And he married his wife Rachel. And he went up to her and he's like, I'm gonna be important one day, and I want you to be with me.
So, English come to colonial America. They're like, French and Indian War, screw that. We're gonna start up New England. They had 13 colonies originally. I know that.
The colonial period was a lot of things, but I'm going to talk about General Nathaniel Greene. General Nathaniel Greene was a nice man. He was from Rhode Island. A lot of people made fun of him because he was fat and had a limp, but that didn't stop him.
So they got married and they lived near a bunch of these Indians. And they were like, whoa, I don't want you here. Like, get away from us. You don't look like me. Or, whoa. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm gonna live here. And you don't have a say in that. I'm gonna be living in this house. And they're like, no, because you're white and you kill our people. And he's like, no.
Colonists are like, dude, why are we getting taxed for shit that doesn't make any sense? We're getting taxed for tea? The fuck? Do we even drink tea here?
He learned strategies of war. So what happened was the taxes and stuff came. They're like, hey man, do you know any war or anything like that? And he's like, yeah, I guess I've been reading a little bit.
And then they learned how to make beads together. One night, they made so many beads that everyone from the city came, and the British hated. I'm not making this up. The British hated that they were making all these beads. They're like, no, these are our beads. You can't make them. We're gonna tax them. And Paul Revere had it.
No, we're England. King George. This is big dick colonialism here. I'm King George. This is big dick colonialism, metaphorically.
So one night, he heard news that the British were coming, and he had to do something about it. So he got on his horse, and he was ready to go, and then you know who showed up? Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold showed up and goes, what are you doing? You're gonna get us all killed. And the Cherokee people are not gonna help you because they're not your friends. He goes, what's wrong with you, Benedict? You're definitely not on our side. And he was like, stop it. Just get on my way and let me ride my horse. Who are you gonna talk to on your horse? He's like, I'm gonna tell him that the British are coming. He's like, because how do you know that?
Sam Adams came out of nowhere. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you taxing us for tea for? We don't even drink tea.
So they didn't have a lot of generals or anything back then because they were just a little militia. And the British were they were the bosses of today. And they marched in a line and were all trained and shot people. And General Nathaniel Greene was he didn't kill anyone before. He was an artist. So he just was like, alright, I'll do it.
See that? I'm gonna get on top of that steeple, and I'm gonna be 1th by land, 2th by sea. And Benedict was like, wow, he knows.
So he was like, oh, you redcoats are gonna go walking down the street and stuff like that, but you know what? We're gonna go hide in the bushes, and while you guys go march on the street like pussies, we're just gonna shoot you in the fucking face.
With his beads by his side. And he just ran around and people came out. It was really awkward because they came out and they had to wait an hour for him to get down the steeple to figure out if they were coming by land or sea. Somehow, him knowing that saved us from the other guys.
The bottom line is, because I think it was Nathaniel Greene was made fun of his whole life for being fat and having a limp. So he was just like, screw this. I don't give a fuck about any rules. I'm just gonna get back at those people that made fun of me. And he's happy to just take it on the British, I guess.